All right, so today's video is real short. It's just about the election season, like what's going on right now. So a lot of people are anxious. I've been looking on social media very carefully because I mean, we never know. In 2016, I remember watching the news and seeing everything that was going on and really being sure about the results. And then it turned out to be something else. So this year, I'm just like, I'm not going to worry too much about the results. I know that whatever happens is just what's meant to happen. So we're just gonna go with it. But you know, I was thinking, what are the effects? Depending on who wins this election, how is that going to affect immigration and immigrants generally? So what are we hoping to see depending on who wins the election? So right now, in the Trump administration, there's been several changes in immigration policies. We all know about the public charge rule, which I've talked about on my channel. We've experienced a travel ban, which started February 2020. And then there are several others, like the changes with the asylum, like several restrictions as far as like how long you have to wait before you get your work permit. And even DACA, there were different things going on with DACA, trying to remove DACA provisions for immigrants who came as children and who are protected under the DREAM Act. So anyway, we know all of those things were going on under the Trump administration. So now what's gonna happen if Biden wins? What's gonna happen for immigrants? Like, are we going to see any changes or what? So I did some research to look into Biden's policies for immigration, just to see what the effects would be on immigrants. Like what do we expect to see in the next 4 years if Biden wins? So the first thing I know that is going to happen, or I saw, at least I read, was that there's going to be efforts to undo many of the changes that happened in the Trump administration, like the travel ban specifically, and the public charge rule. The public charge rule has been kind of like, there's just been a lot of back and forth with that rule. Even as far as November, I think 2nd or 3rd, just like recently, there was like an injunction on this day, and then the next day it was like removed. It was like, oh, public charge is now required. So it's like, what do we really believe? Why is this rule even here? Like, what's really going on? So nobody really knows the answer to this. We're just going with whatever the USCIS releases each time, depending on the decisions with the courts and all of that. So that being said, since it's so confusing and we don't really know, we're expecting that during the Biden administration, there will be a change. He plans to undo the travel ban and undo the public charge rule and undo other restrictions on asylum, specifically because, I mean, people who come to the US and are afraid to return to their country are allowed to apply for asylum to be able to live in the US like permanently. So normally, like before the change happened, when you apply for asylum, after 150 days of your application, you go ahead and apply for your work permit. So this allows the applicant to work and just have a life while waiting for a decision on the asylum. But in the Trump administration in August, like late August, there was a change that now applicants have to wait for 365 days before they get their work permit. So that was really, I mean, that was horrible for applicants, because now you don't have a job, you're afraid for your life, and you're running away from the country, so your options are very limited. So you can't really be like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to my country. So you're here, you apply for asylum, and so it was really like, it was a real struggle in the immigration world with that. So reading that the Biden administration could most likely undo this change was really great for me, and as an immigration attorney, and I know my clients are going to be happy to hear this, and so I just, I'm just talking about that on my channel. Another thing that I saw that would change in the Biden administration, or at least improve, is that he plans to modernize American immigration system. So right now, the American immigration system is pretty modernized. That means we can fill out some forms online. We can check, case status online and use online resources a lot for different inquiries and different things. However, there's still some areas in immigration that still operates like by snail mail. It's just things are just slow in terms of, especially when you're dealing with like consulates, like if your family member is out of the US and you petition for them and you have to go through consulate processing, sometimes using that CEAC website can just be a pain. I've had to call NVC several times. There are several restrictions on the browser to use. I'm like, it's 2020, we need to like get it together. So I'm hoping that during this new administration, if it happens, we don't know yet, modernizing immigration system would include like improving the online system so we can do more things online, fill out more forms online. Right now, there's just a limited amount of forms that you can actually fill out online and do the whole process that way. So hopefully things will change in the new administration. Another effect of this election, the results on immigration, would be to reassert the commitment to asylum. The U.S. has a commitment, like under several rules and different things that, over the years that the U.S. has agreed with other countries. There's a commitment to protecting other people who run to the U.S. for protection. There's a commitment to accepting them and giving them status. But with all the restrictions, in fact, there's even something else that happened. I'm not really sure of all the details, but it's more like restricting the people who can even apply for asylum. Let's say if you had criminal background or something in your country and you come to the US, you can't apply. Don't quote me on that. Just contact me if you have any specific questions about that. But it was just some type of restriction anyway that would make it difficult for people who really needed asylum to apply. So hopefully during the new administration, we'll be able to get more people who qualify for asylum to come in and get their asylum, pretty much, because I can imagine living in a country, a situation where there's war and just a lot going on where you don't feel safe for maybe your sexual orientation or your religious beliefs. You can't just wake up in the morning and go out and just be who you are. That's just, that's just hard. So definitely understand the importance of asylum and looking forward to seeing the changes and how it helps people in the future. Then there are two more things that I saw in my research that the new Biden administration would hope to accomplish when it comes to immigration. First of all, there will definitely be an investigation into irregular immigration. Like, why are so many people not able to acquire regular immigration, just like apply and come in? So what is really the root cause? Is it because the system is too complicated, or there's just not enough options for people to qualify, or what's really going on? Why is it hard to obtain a visa? Why do people feel the need to just come through like the desert or something, through dangerous situations just to come into the US? What's going on there? So hoping to see answers, hoping to see a change so that people can have just a better experience in life. All right, the final thing, yes, is going to be welcoming immigrants into the community. There was not much explanation on this, but I'm just assuming it's going to be a situation whereby immigrants, there are more programs that includes immigrants, like educational programs. Imagine coming into a country and not knowing like what's going on about like where you are. So having a program to teach immigrants about their communities, the town, would be helpful. So hopefully that's something that would be included. I'm not sure on the details, but that's just what it said. And then, yeah, I think that was it. I think as part of tackling irregular immigration, there's going to be effective border screenings to make sure that people coming in are having the required documentation, and if they don't, figuring out like why they don't and seeing who deserves it, who needs to come in, how we can protect the people already in the US and protect the people who are trying to come in, and just, you know, all around safety and good immigration. All right, anyway, I think that's all for the effects of the election results on immigration. I will talk more this week about other topics like VAWA and answering more of your questions about the interview process, because I got a lot of questions about that. That was a huge response from that prior video about the interview. So I'm going to answer those questions in this week's video. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video.